Hi, I'm Benjamin Dean, and I'm the author of Me, My Dad, and the End of the Rainbow, which you can see right here. A nice little shiny copy. Happy LGBT plus Lead Literature Festival. I hope you're all having a really, really great time. Hopefully we'll be able to do this in person at some point. But for now, I'm waving you a hello from my living room / kitchen, which you can see over here. Yes, I hope you're all doing really, really well. Today I'm going to talk to you about my book, which is Me, My Dad, and the End of the Rainbow, which was the Waterstones Children's Book of the Month in February. Very, very, very proud of it. It's my debut book, my very, very first one. And it's all about 12-year-old Archie Albright, who you can see on the cover right here, holding his hands up in the air, having a great time. Archie knows that his parents are keeping a secret from him. When the story starts, which I'm going to read from in a minute, when the story starts, he knows that his parents are keeping that secret, but he doesn't know what that secret is because, that's the whole idea of a secret. You don't know what it is. So he doesn't like being kept in the dark, as I think all of us don't. We don't like it when people are keeping secrets from us. We like to know things. And Archie wants to know why his parents have separated and what secret they are keeping. Now, what he doesn't know is that his dad has recently come out as gay. Now, when he does find this out, Archie wants to know what he can do to make things better and what he can do to make things a little bit less awkward for the family. So he, along with his best friends, Belle, who's just here, and Seb, who's just here, all get together and try and decide what they can do. I'm not sure if they come up with the best idea. They could have thought about it a little bit more, but they have a lovely, colourful adventure. So hopefully you'll be able to read that at some point. But I'm going to read from the very, very beginning, which is the introduction to the story, the introduction to Archie, and the introduction to what's going on. So let me find my page. It's got some lovely illustrations in here from the wonderful Sandra Prabat, who has made this fantastic little scene here, which I absolutely love, which is a big part of the second half of the book. So you have to read to find out what that's all about. But for now, I'm going to read you from the very, very, very first chapter, which is called Some Secrets to Tell. So you've got a little rainbow at the top. So, you're standing in the bookshop reading this, right? Or maybe you've just unwrapped this book for your birthday in front of all of your friends and you've quickly flicked to the first page to see what kind of story you're in for. Well, can you do me a favour before we get started? I need you to look over your shoulder. Your right shoulder or your left shoulder, it doesn't really matter which one, but I need you to look over one of them and double check that nobody is behind you. If there's one thing I know about people, it's that they are all very curious. And by that, I mean they don't know how to mind their own business. Okay, so the coast is clear? Good, because I'm about to tell you some of my most secret secrets. And I don't want just anybody reading them. But before I tell you my secrets, you have to promise not to tell anybody else. Not one single soul. I mean it. This has to stay between us, okay? Also, it's probably best that your parents don't know that you're reading this book. I don't want them to think that I'm giving you any bad ideas. This book is a little adventure, sure, but I don't want you getting in any trouble. I'm Archie, by the way. Archie Albright. I'm not, but Archie isn't. I would tell you my middle name, but I'm not sure I trust you that much just yet. Maybe later. Right, so the first secret. I'm actually 4 feet 7 inches tall. Yes, I told Amber Patel that I was 4 feet 9 inches tall, and yes, that was a lie. But I didn't think she would be my friend if I said I was 4 feet 7 inches tall, because Caveman Kyle is exactly 5 feet tall, and everybody wants to be his friend. To be honest, I'm not quite sure why the first thing I ever said to Amber Patel was, "Hi, I'm 4 feet 9 inches tall," but I can't take it back now. Fortunately, my two best friends in the world, Seb and Belle, know my true height and don't hold it against me. In fact, they know all my secrets, even the ones I can barely admit to myself. The three of us have been best friends for a year now, since Belle joined our school from one, up north as Dad puts it. Before she came to Valegate High, it was just me and Seb, blundering through life together. I'm glad there's three of us now. The second secret is pretty much why I'm telling you all of this in the first place. It's important to the story, but it makes me cringe to think about, even now. You see, my mum and dad kind of hate each other. They try to pretend that they don't when I'm in the room, but they're not very good at hiding it. Adults love to think that us kids are dumb, but half of the time, we know way more than they give us credit for. Mum and Dad haven't always hated each other. In fact, they used to be in love. Not that you would know it now. According to my gran, they met on Dad's 21st birthday, when Dad still had a giant afro that he cared for more than anything in the world. When he tried to say hello, he tripped over and poured his drink, which was blood red, down Mum's dress, which was white and brand new. If you ask me, that sounds exactly like something Dad would do. He can be really clumsy. Mum is a foot or so shorter than Dad, even when she's up on her tiptoes, but in all the photos they've collected over the years, she looks even smaller thanks to Dad's afro. Back then, Mum wore clothes that made her shoulders look bigger than they were, and her hair was blown out into these dark brown curls that fell all around her face, framing it like a picture. Now it's always tied back, because Mum thinks it just gets in her way otherwise. While Mum still looks something like the pictures she has saved in the family photo albums, Dad couldn't look more different. He shaved off his hair the same year I was born. He used to say that it fell out from the stress, a joke that made Mum laugh, no matter how many times he told it. He wears glasses now too, although only when he reads, and not all the time like he should, which Mum nags him about because his eyesight will only get worse. She used to nag him about it anyway. She doesn't so much anymore. Anyway, they were in love, and now they're not. Even though Dad moved out and they rarely talk unless it's about me, Gran says they still love each other deep, deep down. And I think that's true. I'm still getting used to this weird new normal, even if it sometimes feels like a storm cloud is floating over my head. I see Dad all the time for our weekly arcade trips and video game nights, but it still makes my heart jump when he drops me off at home and drives away to his new house. The final secret I have to tell you is something really important, so I hope I can trust you to keep it to yourself. What happened next? It was all my fault. Sure, Seb and Belle had their say in the matter, but the whole idea was mine and I dragged them into it. They just came along because they're my best friends, and that's what best friends do. It wasn't even Oscar's or Dean's fault, though Mum and Dad would disagree on that specific point. If I have one criticism of them both, it's that they really should have been paying more attention. But I guess I dragged them into this whole mess too. So yeah, I take the blame for everything. Well, almost everything. I just needed to get that off my chest. You're probably wondering what I'm talking about, and to be honest, I'm not sure if I'm even telling this story very well. So I think I'd better go back to the point where this all started, because that seems like the most obvious place to begin a story. It was the middle of the night. No, really, it was. I'm not just saying that for dramatic effect. And it suddenly hit me that things were starting to get a little weird. Dun, dun, dun. So that is the very first chapter from my book, Me, My Dad, and the End of the Rainbow. And it introduces us to Archie, our main character, who is the narrator of the story, and he is going to guide the reader through the rest of the story and tell them what happened, tell them all the other secrets that he shouldn't be telling anybody, and trying to get to the bottom of the mystery of what's going on between Mum and Dad and what he can do to make things better. Now, I've already given away to you the secret, so I hope I haven't ruined it too much for you, and I hope I can trust you to keep it to yourselves. But yeah, this book explores a whole bunch of different themes, including family and friendship, which are all things that are really, really, really important to me. Friendship in particular is something that I really wanted to explore with Archie, as with his best friends, Belle and Seb. And how they kind of come together to help Archie when he's in need. You know, it's always good to be able to have people near us that can help us and guide us through things and problems that we might be having. So Belle and Seb are those people for Archie. And when it comes to family as well, family is also something that is the most important thing to me. And I wanted to explore that with Archie. You know, when things start to get a little bit awkward at home, when things start to not be as they were, Archie just wants things to go back to where they were before all of this happened, before everything kind of got thrown up in the air. And I wanted to really explore what it's like when things might not be going right, or when things might not be going the way you want them to, and how you react to that, and how you can try and make things a little bit better, make things a little bit brighter. I'm not going to ruin what happens throughout the rest of the story, but I think I can say that there is definitely a happy ending, so you won't be disappointed. That's enough of me talking. I've spoken for far too long now, but I hope you enjoy the rest of the festival, and I hope that you are okay, that you are safe, and that you are well. Hopefully I'll be able to see you soon, but until then, goodbye.